There we go. Hey, do vitamin waters really have vitamins in them?
If money doesn't grow on trees, why do banks have branches?
36 bowl games. I don't have that much dip.
Hold up. It's the Chargers squad. Everything Los Angeles Chargers every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Chargers Squad Show, starting now.
Well, hello and welcome to our midweek Locked On Chargers Squad Show. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007. Kenyon Barner, KB, 10 years in the league, 3 rings, and Jim Daniels covering sports in LA dating back to 2001. Thank you guys for making us the #1 sports podcasting network out there. Today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by Prize Picks. So if you're a Prize Picks user, we thank you for that. Let's see what else. Download the Prize Picks app today if you're not a user and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 on lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Well, today we're going to talk about what's going on with the Chargers coming off that win over the Philadelphia Eagles. What sort of confidence and momentum can be gained from a gritty overtime win? KB will fill us in on like the headspace that they're in right now, in his opinion. Does Justin Herbert run the football too much or not enough? Or does he have to? Or do they tell him to? There's just a lot of questions surrounding why he runs the ball so much. And can the Chargers produce a season sweep over the Chiefs? I think that would be huge. We're going to get into what is up with the Chiefs, stats and otherwise, because they're kind of a conundrum if you asked me, Kenyon Barner. But we'll get to that a little bit later. First, I want to circle back to this win over the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night. I at times make my mind up about things, and then when it goes contrary to that, it doesn't have to be just sports, it can be anything. When it goes contrary to what I've made my mind up about, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't compute. So when you come off a big win like this in overtime against a very good team on Monday night, do the Chargers are they in a different headspace right now? Do they make up their mind that there may be a different team coming off that win? And, like when it goes against that, they're going to be confused, which is a good thing. You want them to be confident about where they are. So what changes come from a win like that?
I don't think for this team, the way that they've been playing, not too much changes, but this definitely is exactly that, a confidence builder. It's when you look at your roster, you look how depleted offensively your offensive line is, you look at how you've won, how you've maintained, but then coming against this Philadelphia Eagles team, who's a reigning Super Bowl champion team, a playoff contender, one of the top teams in the NFC East, and you're able to get that victory. This bodes for a lot of confidence. It allows you to, okay, listen, I know where we're at. I know where we've been. I know what we see when we look at each other, but we can still win versus top-notch teams. I don't care if they're struggling or not. It's still the Philadelphia Eagles. They still have a defense that is worth talking about. They still have some of the top defensive players in the league on their defensive front. This is still a team that gets after the quarterback. This is a team that still has Saquon Barkley and Devontae Smith and AJ. This is still a team, right, that is high caliber. So this is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, a confidence-building win. And when this team looks around each other in the locker room, they got to feel that way.
Jim, do you feel like they're going to be a little bit different of a team this week?
Here's what I want to add to this, because obviously what KB said is correct, because I mean you have a big win. Look, winning in the NFL is hard. Any kind of winning in the NFL is difficult. So to get a win is great. When you get a marquee win, one on Monday Night Football with everybody watching, that's terrific. But I want to guard against getting too high about winning this game, because the Philadelphia Eagles don't give a darn about beating the Chargers in December in 2025. Why? Because they've got their division already wrapped up. I mean, they're going to win that division unless they go completely flat and lose the rest of the games, the rest of the season. They've got the NFC East locked up, so they don't need to be too concerned with blowing a non-conference game on the road to the Chargers. I don't think they know they're going to get there anyway. This is not like the look on Baker Mayfield's face last night when they lost to the Falcons is like, Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Did that really just happen? The Eagles are not thinking that at all. I mean, it's typical for them to have lots of infighting and screaming and scream and yell on social media to get your touches or your targets or whatever it is. But I think where it's really going to matter is sweeping the Chiefs, because this is a team that's going to got nothing really to play for but pride and prove that they're better than you are. That's going to move ahead and go into the playoffs. I think this game is really important. It's going to be really telling. You go in there and take care of business. You beat the Chiefs. Now you're ready to play the playoffs. Now you're ready to take on other playoff teams. But I want to guard against getting too high on beating this Eagles team that really didn't care.
Well, Jim, can I go, Pete?
Yeah.
I got to disagree. I disagree from this standpoint. NFL football and any sports related team is all about peaking at the right time. So if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you were already on a 2-game skid. Now you want to be peaking at the right time in the way that the Philadelphia, whether they've bounced back, whether that they've proven that they can have turmoil within the locker room and shake back, it doesn't matter, because you can't always flip that switch. And the way that this team is playing, the way that this team is internally imploding, the way that they had a saving grace last season in Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was the light, Saquon was everything for this team. Saquon's not having that MVP caliber season that he had last season. So when you look at this Philadelphia team and you look at the way that they're going, they're moving and trending in the absolute wrong direction. There's not 7, 8, 9 games left in the season. We're on the last leg of the season, so you absolutely want to be peaking at the right time, and this team is going the opposite direction. So from that standpoint, I do think they cared. I do think that this game mattered. I do think that this game will have an impact on them, and now this team really has to go back to Philadelphia and look at themselves, not only the team, but the coaching staff as well. Like, what are we doing? Like, where are we headed? This is a game that we absolutely should have won. This is a game that I think if you would have asked all the talking heads in the media world, if the Chargers were going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, I think they would have went with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Based on what the Chargers have been, based on the injuries and all of that. So from that standpoint, I disagree that Philly didn't care about this game. And with the Chargers, obviously you never want to get too high. You never want to get too low. You want to stay even keel. But if I'm looking at my team and looking at where we're at, this was a phenomenal win. Overtime, well, I don't care how long it took. This was an absolute phenomenal win, that most people thought the Chargers would not get. So I got to disagree. I don't disagree with you too often, but on this one, I do.
That's cool. Now let me redirect one thing back at you, and then we can move on, Pete. If I'm the coach of the Eagles, when I get in the locker room, I go, you know what? We played a terrible football game. We turned the ball over 6 times. We did everything wrong, and we came within an eyelash of winning that football game. If that ball doesn't get tipped and that's completed for a touchdown and they win, and this is a completely different conversation.
Yeah, I think that's more.
That's what I'm saying to my guys. If I'm the coach, I'm saying you did all that, you did everything wrong, and you came within just a whisker of still winning the football game. So I mean, we've got to stay the course and do our thing and blah blah blah.
But I think that's more of a fan's perspective. I think a fan could rationalize this more than the team potentially, right? Philly fans, KB, you were there.
Absolutely.
They're walking around like, whatever, no big deal. We lost to the Chargers. So what? It doesn't matter. That's not our main goal, right? But from a player's perspective, I feel like that would not affect the Chargers because it's not a rivalry, right? If it was a rivalry and the rival aspect of it changed the perspective for the Chargers, if they were like, if the opposition was like, we don't care about beating you guys. But yeah, I feel like there's maybe something to be said for that from a fan's perspective, but not from the players. Cause that is, as KB said, I think that's a huge win for them. And I feel like my thought is this week, today, they are in a different headspace. Right now, they've been in a different headspace seemingly every week, and I think that's one of the interesting things and fun things about this team. We just don't. When I was, I go on in Kansas City every week and talk about the Chargers. I'm the Charger guy for their AFC West pregame show, and they were like, asking me about where this Charger team is, what we can expect. I'm like, we don't know. Every week, it's a question mark as to what they're going to throw up against the wall and then what's going to stick. We just don't know. And very rarely do they find something and then build on it, right? It's like, well, this is what we're doing this week and we hope it works. So That's what's interesting about this team, but I definitely feel like they have turned a corner. Can we say that? Maybe not a sharp corner. They've turned a very loose corner to a certain extent and gained some experience, or not experience, but confidence rather from a win like that. There's just no way that you can't come out of that game feeling different about yourself. You have
That's the champs. They're the champs.
Right. And to win that game like that in heroic fashion, I think it was actually huge for them. Break time. When we get back from me talking about ZocDoc, I want to talk about whether or not this defense can keep it going. Can they pick up where they left off in overtime of that win over the Philadelphia Eagles? It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, where you can find Daniel and David Monday through Friday with the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast. So make sure you check those guys out. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by ZocDoc. It is 2025. It's almost 2026, and those days of waiting for something to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, they're over. No more walking it off. 6 months later, it's still kind of nagging at you. No more pretending that weird shoulder stiffness is just sleeping wrong. What? It is sleeping wrong, but it's also other things as well at times. It's time to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc makes that even easier because they're healthy. Because staying healthy is more than hitting the gym or eating right. It's about actually getting things checked out when they feel a little bit off. Real appointment times are listed, including same-day visits. No more back and forth phone calls or waiting weeks to be seen. This happened to me just yesterday. It was the dentist, not the doctor, but I had an appointment for Monday. Couldn't make it. Got a golf outing. So Monday, December 15th turned into February 12th. when I'll be at the dentist. So that was kind of surprising to me. So that's a real thing. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL to find instantly a top rated doctor that is available to you. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL. All right, Locked On Chargers midweek, end of week squad show. Chargers in overtime 22-19 win over the Eagles. The defense was fantastic in that game. They, the bend don't break thing was kind of dialed up to 10, if you ask me. They had that mentality very well executed. So that was positive and good. And I look at this and I say, okay, we got the Chiefs coming up. They obviously want this game a lot for a variety of reasons to keep their slim glimmer of hope for the playoffs alive. But this defense is good, but there have been times when they've been off. And from the conversation we just had about confidence and momentum, KB, do you think this defense can pick up where they left off? Do they say, yes, we want more of that? We need more of that.
Absolutely, 1000%. This defense has been part of the reason this team is still stayed above water and stayed above 500. This defense is a large part of the reason why this team isn't in the running for a first-round draft pick right now. In all honesty, and so for us to think anything different than this defense continuing to show up and play the way that they have, I think we would be out of our minds too. When you have vets like Derwin, when you have vets like Khalil, when you have vets like Tony Jefferson who comes in the game and balls out of his mind, when you have vets like D-Jack out there at corner, you absolutely can expect this defense to continue to produce the way that it has. They're applying great pressure. They're turning over the quarterback. I think as the season has progressed and we've gotten to this tail end outside of a couple games, this defense has come together in the right ways at the right time.
I'm hoping to see Thule dance with Mahomes a lot in this upcoming game because I know that and I tried to dig this up before we came on because I ran across this crazy metric man, you can start peeling the onion in football, and you can peel as far as you want to, right, KB?
Absolutely.
I found something about Patrick Mahomes that he's one of the most inaccurate passers there is. That under pressure, two things happen. One, he becomes even more wildly inaccurate, but he also triggers this other metric, and I can't remember the name of it. It's some like heroic metric. It's like when under pressure and on the run and the play breaks down, this guy's like 1 or 2 in actually getting it done and getting the first down, second only to Josh Allen, which is no surprise, right?
It's like a baseball stat.
Yeah, that I think that's a key, though. I mean, I think we got to absolutely get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. You can't let him sit back there and try and find the open receiver because he doesn't have great receivers.
When we look at what Justin Herbert did on the ground, leading the team in rushing, 10 carries, 66 yards, we were all head scratching about that performance, that game plan, etc. I look at that and I put in the notes. Does Justin Herbert have to run the ball that much, or just does he want to? Or is it a little bit of both? I don't think that would be the game plan, but I look at that and I go, I feel like he has to run that ball that much. I don't think he really wants to. But you look at him and go, does he feel like a guy, KB, that enjoy, like just from a pure kid playing a game kind of a standpoint, does he feel like a guy to you that wants to run the ball? Like, hey, this is fun. I want to run the ball more. And because when he does it, it's good for the team. So I wonder from a standpoint of just, flat out necessity versus enjoyment. Why is he running the ball right now so much?
One, the offensive line is breaking down like a Roblox game. We breaking down like we playing Legos. So I think that's the main thing, right? I feel like my guy feels like his house is on fire and he has to find an exit route immediately. So that's the main thing, right? But also, this is who Herbert has been since he started playing football, going back to Eugene, Oregon. And I'm talking about when he was in high school. He was a quarterback that could sit in the pocket and throw the ball, but he would take off and run. At Oregon, he's a quarterback that can sit in the pocket and throw the ball, but love to get out there and run. And I don't think that Herbert is a kid that plays backyard football when he's out there. If it's there, he's going to take it. Herbert loves contact, which I hate from my quarterback. This dude does not mind contact. He does not mind running in spots where most quarterbacks wouldn't. And he does not mind staying up where most quarterbacks would get down. Herbert will try and run a linebacker over. That's just who he is. It's in his DNA. He is a guy. Go ahead.
Stiff arm.
Yeah, all of that with a broke hand. You know what I'm saying? So this is just who Herbert is. And I'm almost certain that they're like, hey, like, let's not run so much. I firmly believe that Harbaugh and Greg Roman are like, can we stay in the pocket a little bit? And Herbert's probably like, hell no, we can't. I'm gonna do whatever it takes for this team to win a game. And without Herbert's legs, let's be real and call a spade a spade. Wow. This offense wouldn't look half as good as what it does when it does look good, right? This offense wouldn't be the same without Herbert at quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt. The running game is very crucial to this team. Omarion Hampton, 13 touches for 56 yards. Jim, how would you rate that return after being off for 7 weeks from a performance standpoint and from the amount of touches that Greg Roman gave to him?
From a performance standpoint, I think it's great because when you're coming back, there's a little bit of question mark. I think there's even a little bit of question mark in the player, until I get hit a few times, get some contact, some real contact. How do I feel? I felt real good about watching him. I think he had to feel good about playing. Me, man, I want more touches. I want my running backs to get the ball at least 25. I'm really happy or 20 times. I'm really happy when it's 25 times. And I know they got Kamani Vidal in the mix there that has still been very successful. And so you got to kind of mix it up because that keeps them guessing in that too. So I think the return of Omarion Hampton is terrific. And the fact that there is now a legitimate two-headed monster running the ball back there, they should be able to maybe convince Herbie to like, all right, look, so maybe you look for one of these guys to dump it off to now instead of you taking off so you don't have to be the one that gets tackled because you're right. I mean, you don't want – you love the fact that your quarterback is not afraid of contact, but it scares me that he is interested, that he likes contact. He's like Big Ben. Roethlisberger was another big guy. He didn't mind contact at all. He's kind of like he was like a center in basketball. He wanted to feel where you were and kind of post you up a little bit, and then he was better off. I think Herbie feels the same way sometimes. You go ahead and commit and let me know what you're going to do, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do.
So I have a question.
Yeah, he has tremendous confidence, and that's another thing to put on top of it. Is like KB said, he's been doing it since he was in high school. This is what he does. He's got that schoolyard dog in him, and he's just going to get loose. He sees that hole, and he's going to get under that fence and through that gate, and down the street he goes.
Yeah, ultimately, that's the answer to the question. He has to, right?
Yeah.
I think he wants to, but more than anything, he has to run. And I think that is part of the game plan, whether they put it on paper, whether they verbalize it or not. Like, it's just instinct for him. You can tell. He's like, damn, I got to get out of here. And now, like, here we go. Like, I'm sure that's his first reaction. Like, let's go. But let me ask you this question from an X's and O's standpoint, KB. The RPO seems to work. Why don't we see a little bit more of the old-fashioned college option pitch? Is that too hard on the quarterback taking that hit?
I think that's a deadly blow in today's game. And it's not like you have Cam Newton out there, right? Cam Newton was bigger than every defensive player on the field outside of Julius Peppers. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a guy like Cam, you would probably lean more into doing that because you have a quarterback that could take that blow. Not to say that Herbert can, I just wouldn't risk it, but I do. I think a lot of the basic stuff, fundamental stuff that was ran at the college level, I think it would work in the NFL. It's just, for whatever reason, it's just not ran. And I think it should be because it would catch a lot of people off guard. You don't see the option. You don't see, the inside zone read with the back coming around the backfield, getting in pitch phase with the quarterback. You don't see any of that. And I firmly believe that a lot of that would work. We just don't see it. It's not your typical West Coast offense attire, right? So I think a lot of times when it comes to the X's and O's of football, we stick to the things that have traditionally been instilled rather than being creative. And even though Greg Roman out there in Baltimore, they created an offense for Lamar Jackson. Out there in Baltimore, you will not find the offense that Baltimore runs anywhere else in the NFL. I know because I was there, and it took me a lifetime to try and pick up. It's something completely different. So I don't know why, but I feel like if you have a quarterback that is capable, a quarterback that comes from that system, and this has always blown my mind about scouts and coaches. When you draft a guy off of what you've seen him do in college, right? You draft him off of what he did well in college. But once you get him in the NFL, you try and tailor him to your system and what you want to see him do well. I never understood that. So for Herbert, who comes from that scheme, why wouldn't you try it?
One thing I think about that play is it's way harder than it looks when they do it well. I saw people try to run that play, and it's just that pitch seems so easy at the college level. It's not. The timing of that play is hard. So
timing and spacing is everything.
Yeah, I'm always looking for interesting ways to get the playmakers the ball on this team. We don't see a lot of that. They seem to dumb it down a little bit, and that's fine. But when you're dealing with injuries like they are, I feel like they got to be digging into that playbook a little bit more and getting a little bit more interesting with what they're scheming up.
You have two guys that would be great right off the top of my head: Darius Davis and Trey. You have two guys that I would use on fly sweeps and jet sweeps, and I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, they do a lot of things we don't understand.
That's an interesting thought, though. Really, I mean, roll that out there. I'd like to see him roll it out there just to see how the defense reacts. What do you think of this?
Yeah.
Might find something. That's a good idea, KB.
The other thing we don't see a lot of, I know special teams is usually our final segment, but we haven't seen any sort of fake kicks, fake punts, none of that stuff. Like they even Troy mentioned it on Monday night. He's like, this would be a perfect place for, and I was thinking the same thing. This would be a perfect place for a fake field goal. No, I guess when you got Dicker, right, Jim, you don't mess with that. You don't mess with that.
I'll take it.
Right.
No, I'll take the 3.
I'll take those 3 points.
I don't want to get into Dan Campbell syndrome here, where we forget that we even have a punter. That's and I noticed that they've woken up a little bit, that he's kicked a couple of field goals and punted a couple of times since.
Not only Dicker, but you and JK. You have this is obviously fakes are good in spots of the game, but when you have a defense that's playing as well as our defense is, you have a lot of trust in them. And when you have a punter like J.K. Scott who could flip the field and put the offense in a disadvantage from a field position wise, you kind of trust that. So I get it, I understand it, but sometimes you got to throw it off a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely you got to keep the opponent guessing, I think, is the better way, another way of describing it, without a doubt. I saw something this week, I think it was on ESPN, I thought it was interesting. They went through, I was like, this is a piece of work right here. They went through all of the teams and their potential MVP candidates for the entire league. I was like, wow. So immediately I scrolled down to the Chargers and had to look at what they had to say about Justin Herbert as being an MVP candidate, because after that week 1 win over the Chiefs, there was more than one person that was like, MVP, right? And obviously with this offensive line, that is kind of gone by the wayside, but there are still things that Justin Herbert does that make you think, yeah, he's an MVP, right? I don't know if he's going to win it this year, but the other thing that's interesting about this year with regards to the MVP, it's like every week it's a different guy that you're like, oh, that's the MVP leader right now. Mm-hmm. So is it crazy? Like, let's just put this out there. If the Chargers run the table from here on out, is Justin Herbert is doing the same kind of things he's been doing, running the ball, putting the team on his back. Is there a conversation, KB, that he could be in the MVP discussion?
I think there has to be a conversation.
Oops, I'll jump in. Excuse me. I think there has to be a conversation about it. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
There is no clear-cut MVP in this NFL season. You don't have a Lamar Jackson who's playing out of his mind and it's a clear-cut decision. Pat Mahomes isn't having a Pat Mahomes season. Josh Allen isn't having there's no clear-cut MVP like you typically see over the past course of the couple of years. And so when you talk about Justin Herbert, it's the most valuable player. And for what Herbert means for this team, we said it earlier, this team would not be where it is without Justin Herbert. Herbert might be the most valuable quarterback in the NFL for a team that has shuffled the offensive line more than any team that we've seen in recent years, and still been able to maintain where they're at and stay above water, still be in the running, still be in the playoff fight. Herbert there were some numbers that's been thrown out there. He's taken 106 hits. He's faced 224 pressures. He's faced the most quick pressures in 94. He has the second highest quarterback pressure percentage being faced at 43.9%. And he's been sacked the third most in the NFL with 45 times. Not only that, why wouldn't he, right? Why wouldn't he be in the MVP discussion for what he does and what he brings to this team? I don't think there's another quarterback that you could put in this spot with this offensive line. And we always harp on the offensive line, but it is what it is. But I don't think there's anybody else that you could put behind this offensive line and get a different result. And so, in my opinion, he absolutely should be in the MVP discussion.
The two front runners right now, Jim, are Matt Stafford of the Rams and Drake May of the Patriots. So, Matt Stafford to me probably has a better shot than Drake May.
Well, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, and the fact that he's throwing all these touchdown passes.
The same thing in college, right? When you have the Heisman and the MVP, those type of awards, they typically go to the guys on the best team that year, but that's not what the MVP is. The MVP is strictly what it says, the most valuable player. And you tell me a player that's more valuable to their team than Justin Herbert. When you look at the Rams and the way that their team is structured, I'm not saying that if you put any other quarterback in that spot, they would be as successful. But I don't think if you put Matthew Stafford behind the Chargers offensive line, you would get the same result that Justin Herbert is giving you with this Chargers offensive line. Why? Because Matthew Stafford can't move the way Justin Herbert does. I don't think he could take the sort of contact that Justin Herbert does. So I get it. I understand. It's the name. I understand it. But I think it's just a different level of ball that Herbert is playing.
What were you going to say, Jim?
I was just talking about. Let's just keep going. Plow forward.
Well, yeah, that's look. That's I think that is largely based on the outcome of these final 4 games, like where they finish this season.
I got a question.
Hmm.
What did Jim say? Because I didn't hear him at all.
I didn't think you did.
I can't.
You
Yeah.
can't hear me?
Can you hear him?
No, can you hear him?
I can hear him. You can't hear him? I figured
Can't
you
hear
would.
me?
No, I can't hear him at all.
Oh, darn. All right,
damn.
Pete, you'll have to ask my question for me.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's take a quick break. I'm going to see if I can troubleshoot this live on the fly. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show also brought to you by Car Gurus. Car shopping should feel exciting, not confusing, and with Car Gurus, you get that confidence that you deserve. They cut through all the noise so you can actually see the best deals on the cars you want, because when it comes to a big purchase, you deserve the best deals, and Car Gurus makes that whole process simple by giving you real information, real deal ratings, and more listings than anyone else, so you can shop the way you want. You'll love being able to filter by everything: mileage, trim, features, price, of course. That's usually the biggest factor, right? But one of the things I know when I've been car shopping, and this is not exclusive to cars, you could put couches in the same category, that you're like, ooh, I like that color, and I like that feature, and I like that, and I like that. And it's hard to find all of the boxes to check. Well, with this search feature, this filter, you can narrow it down real easy, and that makes life a whole lot more simple. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships for a transparent and hassle-free buying process with over 4 million listings, the most of any major online automotive marketplace. You'll always find the best deal. Shop the way you want with the tools, data, and unbiased deal ratings that make it easy. Buy or sell your next car today at cargurus.com. That's CARGURUS.com. Cargurus.com. All right, the Locked On Chargers Squad Show midweek, late week edition, as we get ready for the Kansas City Chiefs, who are losers of their last 2, a sub 500 team at 6-7, and we look at this and say, what's up with the Chiefs? What's their problem right now? And Google's answer, the AI overview to that question, is the Kansas City Chiefs defense has struggled significantly on third down, ranking near the bottom of the league, even last in opponent third down conversion percentages. So that, to me, is the sore thumb that hopefully the Chargers can exploit, take advantage of, and, make things happen on third down, because they have not been great on third down. So that could be a matchup, if we're looking at the fight aspect of it. Styles make fights. Matchups are important. That could work well to the Chargers' benefit, because the Chiefs allow 70% completions on third down and long conversions. And we know that that's kind of like, if you look at what we saw against both the Eagles and the Raiders, at times I felt on third down they were trying to do too much. There was too big a chunks that they were looking for there. So the Chiefs are susceptible to that. So maybe that will line up, right? That'll work out good for them. But this Chiefs team definitely doesn't have terrible numbers. It's kind of surprising. If you want to look at the offense, 5th in total offense, passing yards, 2nd rushing yards, 15th points per game, 9th efficiency, top 5, third down, top 10, fourth down, top 5, and red zone scoring, they're in the top 10. So their numbers aren't really terrible. It's just, I think they have a couple of areas, including no reliable receivers and a lack of a running game. Another thing that I think kind of lines up really nice for them, Jim. I feel like this is a good matchup, even though they're 4.5-point dogs.
Yeah, it is a good matchup. We know it's a good matchup, and we know that they've struggled to run the football, and they probably didn't go into the season with the best game plan. They might have gone with maybe a little bit more youth in that, or, hey, look, we only get so many draft picks every year and so many people we can add to to the equation. And, when you've got a unit that has been as successful as those guys have been, a core unit that's been that successful for so long, you figure, well, we can change the outer parts a little bit. And it won't make a big difference. Look, you got a key on Rashee Rice. That's who Mahomes wants to go to. You got a key on shutting him down. That's going to really limit anybody else catching the ball. And then when you can't back it up and run the football, I mean, that's going to create problems for you. And it forces Mahomes to put on his Superman cape and somehow heroically get you a third down or get you a touchdown, get you in the end zone. I think he's why they're successful in the red zone with touchdowns. I'm shocked that they're 15th at running the football. I would have said 25th. I mean, seriously, I mean, I don't see them run it very often, and I don't see them run very well. I think they're relying on Patrick Mahomes way too much, for success with that offense.
Here's another stat that I found interesting, KB, or another AI overview of what's up with the Chiefs. They reference poor coaching adjustments and critical drops. Poor coaching adjustments for the Chiefs? Aren't they the preeminently coached team in this league?
Right.
Like
blasphemy.
Yeah, I'm like that. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but AI is rarely wrong, right? So
Yeah.
maybe they know something we don't know about what's going on with the coaching over there in Kansas City.
I think I would err more so along the side of it not being a Andy Reid issue, but I think it's more of a execution issue, right? I think great coaches are great coaches, but players have to go out and execute the game plans and what's being implemented and make the proper adjustments on the field. I think when you look at this Kansas City Chief team, like you said, you don't see the star receivers, the reliable receivers that Pat Mahomes is typically used to throw through. We see a lot of drop balls from this receiving core that you don't typically see. Even in Travis Kelce, he doesn't look like the Travis Kelce of old. So I think it's, to Jim's point, I think it's the lack of youth and the lack of execution. So I don't know how much of it is coaching. I think it's more so players just not executing. I think it's not, they don't have a talented roster like that.
Can we say Father Time? I was looking for a watch. I don't have one on, but I was going to.
I got you.
Can we say Father Time is ticking on the Chiefs? Is that fair? Travis Kelce's getting old. I'm not going to ever say Mahomes is done until I see him, in a broadcast.
Yeah, nah. Right. I'd be in alignment with that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody won't have a New England Patriot run, I think, and we were spoiled by that. And I think we all believe that the Chiefs would be the team that could make that run, but in all reality, that's an unrealistic run that we've seen. 6 Super Bowl, it just doesn't happen. No. It doesn't happen where, again, for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, Tom never played in a game where he was out of playoff contention. That is insane. That is absolutely nuts. And so we seen what the Chiefs were in Pat Mahomes' younger years, right? We seen them challenge, we seen them win. And so there was that expectation, or there was that thought of maybe this team could be it. Maybe this team could be the second running of what we've seen the New England Patriots have done. But a lot of things have to work in your favor. And the difference between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots, one had the greatest quarterback of all time, where you couldn't name a single receiver that he was throwing to outside of Rob Gronkowski or Julian Edelman that still found a way to go out and get it done. And with Kansas City, we can't say that they've been the same since they've let one particular receiver go.
Who could that be?
Look, the fact of the matter is that, they're aging, and Patrick Mahomes is not the same Patrick Mahomes. He is the same when
Teacher, we got a question.
However, it's not that broken. It may be broken for in the moment, and it may be broken for this year, but tear a page out of the Dodgers off-season book, find your checkbook, and go
get
out
somebody.
there
Yeah.
and find some people, go out there and find a Puka Nakua or steal one from somebody, maybe even one on either side. I mean, you want to get back, you want to challenge that record, you want back-to-back Super Bowls and all that kind of stuff, spend money. Geez, the Dodgers have told everybody in the entire sports world, quit putting so much in your pocket, put more on the field, and you might win more.
You just might.
There's two things he's not aging at is his pregame speech. He's still got that nailed down where he says a bunch of words that are related to football, but they don't mean anything. And then his insurance commercials are still fantastic. You know, the Megan Trainor one makes me laugh every single time. You know,
The brace.
Because I'm all about that brace. No, it's not that. And then when she's like, Patrick, everybody, he does sports.
I love it. I have to say, I love it.
Why is nobody clapping? She's fantastic in that.
She's great, yeah.
Our final break, then we'll come back and talk a little special teams for KB, so he'll feel complete on the day. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. Because I'm all about that brace, about that brace. No, it's not that. Where is my script? Oh my gosh, where did it go? It's gone. Okay, that's okay. I can get it back. Don't worry. Hold on. Prize Picks. Did I do Prize Picks yet? No, it's Prize Picks. That's who the show is brought to you by today. All right, Prize Picks. Here we go. I'm a big Prize Picks fan. Haven't used it in a while, but it's weird. I enjoy Prize Picks during not football season. I know that's when everybody's wagering and betting, and I did that a long time ago. I'm kind of like over that, you know, that ship has sailed for me a little bit. I enjoy it during baseball season a whole lot more because I feel like baseball's a slow sport. I love baseball. It's a slow sport. Things like Prize Pick make it more interesting day in and day out. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right about those decisions can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this or any other sports season when you're following the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried Prize Picks yet, it's the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their stat projections, and you get them right, you win. It takes 60 seconds to make a lineup, and you can do it anywhere. Prize Picks operates or almost anywhere. In places that other sports betting apps don't, like California, Texas, Georgia. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Locked On NFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, I don't love leaning on Dicker the kicker. I don't love leaning on any kicker to win a game. But when you've got Cameron Dicker on your team, that definitely gives you an extra layer of confidence. 5 for 5 in this win over the Eagles. And my prediction on this Chiefs game is, well, this is the prediction I made yesterday. And I woke up this morning thinking it was maybe a little bit low. You guys can tell me how wrong I am. I predicted I hate to say this here, because I feel, and I'm saying, I'll give you the reason why I'm predicting a Chiefs victory here. It's going to be close. Am I not allowed to do that here? Can I not be?
No, go ahead.
No, you can absolutely.
I'd be on an island. You can be an island, but you go ahead.
I feel like the Chargers are going to look past this game to the Cowboys, right? Because I feel like the Chiefs are down and they're going to not have that same sense of focus. And this team has been super inconsistent, and they played really great. And as much as I hope they don't, I hope that they keep that momentum from the defensive overtime performance and the defensive performance throughout the whole game. I just feel like they're due for a letdown, and they're going to be looking forward to a bigger game. And the Chiefs Chargers is a big game, but I feel like Cowboys is going to be bigger for them, and they're going to be looking forward to that game. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but that's what I'm feeling. And so, and let's be honest, this is probably the only time all season that I have not predicted a Chargers win. So we know that I've been wrong 4 other times. So
Kenyon, if you're on this Charger team and you got a chance to pop these guys in the chops, sweep them in the season, help make sure they don't get in the playoffs or win the AFC West. I mean, this is the top of my Christmas list, is to see you crying on the sideline, that team. Yeah, no, I got to disagree with you, Pete. I think this one is circled. This is one we got to have. This is one they're going to have. And no, there's no saving face for the Chiefs. Now let's just rub their nose in it and move on.
You know what, Pete? I'm with you. This team has been very inconsistent. This team shows up, then they don't show up. This team has lost to the New York Giants. This team has played great and won the games that no one thought that they were going to win, and then come out and lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This team is you said it's like a roller coaster ride, right? We're up and we're down, we're up and we're down, but I'm going to take a page out of Lee Corso's book. Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast, my friend. Give me my hat. Listen, this is the first time since 2013 we talked about this, since the Chargers have had the possibility of sweeping the Chiefs. You don't think for 1 second that that's on their mind, that this has been the reigning champ in this division for as long as we can remember. The Chiefs have been the cream of the crop for as long as we can remember. Pat Mahomes has been the guy, the poster boy, the second golden child of the NFL after Tom Brady for as long as we can remember. Calls and everything else has been, in the words of Katniss Everdeen, the odds have forever been in the Chiefs' favor. And you don't think for 1 second that the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, Khalil Mack, and all these other guys don't want to absolutely put the nail in the coffin on this team? I 1,000, without a shadow of a doubt, believe that is what's on these guys' mind. No. Let's put these boys in a coffin. Let's shut it, and let's put them 6 feet deep, and let's put the dirt on top of them right away. So I know what this team has been, but I also understand the importance of this game being a in-division game. So this isn't just any game, right? And it's the tail end of the season, and this is a game that you have to have, right, for playoff positioning and where you want to be. So I'm with you that this team has been inconsistent. I'm with you that this team shows up sometime and sometimes it doesn't. That sometimes it'll play great and they'll come out and they'll fall off. But I'm hoping for, the player in me that's just not the case this week, especially versus this team, a team that has dominated you for years and years and years. So I want to error on the side that, and I don't even want to say error, but I want to stay on the side of that they're going to show up and they're going to show out.
Yeah, look, I hope that's right. I really do. I hope they have turned a corner, as we said. Yeah. I was my point early in the show. Have they turned? I feel like they've turned a corner, and I feel like that could be a defining moment, that win over the Eagles on Monday night for them. And I hope that it is. I hope that there is some consistency down the stretch, that we don't see this. Okay, we're going to beat a good team like the Eagles and then, lay an egg against, because all of those points you both just made are 100% accurate, right? I'm not arguing with any of those points. They're spot on, that this game does mean something to them because it is a division rival and it's important to sweep them. And look, they absolutely have to have it circled on their whiteboard that they can sweep the division. Right? Or not the division, the division.
No, they can. Yeah.
They've swept the Raiders. They have a game against the Broncos that probably won't mean anything for the Broncos. So that'll be a little bit easier for the Chargers. And they win this game, they could go 6-0 in the AFC West.
That's
huge. So I get all of that, but the devil on my other shoulder is on, but this team hasn't played 2 good games in a row all season, have they? Against a good opponent. Now, that becomes the big question. Is this Chiefs team a good opponent? Who knows? Like, their record says no, but their stats speak otherwise, as we've gotten into. Their numbers are like respectable across the board. They don't have any real, other than that 3rd down conversion number. Everything else is top 10. So they're not an embarrassing team. So, and as we all have stated in this show, that this game is going to mean something to the Chiefs as well. So I'm definitely excited to see how it all unfolds. And I hope against hope that I am wrong, that they win this game, 10th win of the season. That would be huge. It would be a large step in the right direction to securing a playoff berth. It would mean some real momentum against 2 solid teams going into a game against the Cowboys. So then you got the Texans. So this is a tough Tough stretch.
Tough
Down,
stretch.
the home stretch of the season is tough, no doubt. Jim.
Pete, I want to throw a number out there for you.
Sure.
If I say, or a year, got a cramp. If I say 2009, what would that mean to you in regards to the Chargers? You too, Jim. We're going to play Jeopardy.
They were 9-4 at this point of the season. 2000. I don't know. They didn't move in 2009.
I'm gonna let Jim take a gander at it.
2009. Man, that's maybe too far for my memory banks to pull out. I'm gonna say this is a Phillip Rivers.
Grandpa Rivers.
Grandpa Rivers meltdown at the end. Yeah, who's back, by the way.
Well, listen.
Hey, Hugo. Hugo has a guess. He says 2009, 13-3. Is that what you're thinking of?
That was the last time that they swept the division.
I was getting. Oh, damn it! That was my next guess.
Shout out to Hugo. Yeah, that was the last time. So I think these, obviously you want to win every game, right? But I think actually having a shot this late in the year to do something that you haven't done in well over a decade, I think that's going to carry some weight. I'm sure that that's something that's being like bulletin board material. Hey, listen, this is where we're at. Like, this is what we have an opportunity to do. Let's go out and do it. So I think obviously you want to beat the Cowboys, you want to beat the Texans. But as the point was made earlier about the Philadelphia Eagles, those guys aren't in division rivalries. You know, those guys are on the NFC and in the NFC East. But I just think that when it comes to these division games, when you have an opportunity that you haven't had in over a decade, I think it means a little bit more to you.
It's in the season. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
And then you go, and then I'll wrap up with this final point from Jayhawk. His handle, Jayhawk and Charger fan, so he's familiar with both of these teams. We'll get back to that. Go ahead, Jim.
The building blocks. You know, your season is building blocks. You know, I mean, your ultimate goal is to be able to pick up the last block and put it on the top and the Super Bowl win. But in order to get there, you've got to have some victories and some confidence builders. And along the way, you're going to collect things like you're the wild card champ, or you're this or you're that. You know, if this can be one of the building blocks that you're going to use. I mean, hey, first, we knocked off the champs. We just beat the current Super Bowl champs in our house in stunning fashion in overtime on national television on Monday Night Football. Now here's a chance for us to go beat the Chiefs, this next New England Patriots, Tom Brady led miracle team. Beat those guys. Now, I mean, you know, it's for me, it's building blocks, and you got to accept these things, because this building block of sweeping the Chiefs and ensuring your spot in the playoffs is huge to me. You may not get to the Super Bowl, but you know, you're going to get a chance to beat the Chiefs in this division, which is something you haven't done since 2009.
KB, I don't want to. Well, I don't like shining a light on a discrepancy, but Hanan says that they did not sweep the division in 2009. They were 5-1, which is only interesting from the standpoint, research it while I make this comment. It's only interesting from the standpoint that if that is true, right, then this could be the first time they have ever done it. And that's an even bigger feather in their cap, right?
Bigger.
So, we're looking at
we're digging.
We're verifying your
developing
your claim here. Is he right or wrong?
AI says 09. Let me go to ESPN.
Okay. Look up Broncos Chargers 2009. That'll tell you the answer. Here's Jayhawk and Charger fans comment. No quarterback has won a playoff game while being pursued 280 plus times. Let's go make history. Amen. And your other point I think is interesting about the Chiefs. No, you've made a lot of comments here. And he goes, no Hollywood Brown, no Trey Smith, Wanya Morris or Jawan Taylor for the Chiefs offensive line. Not having Trey Smith is huge. So they have their own offensive line issues over there. So that will also be helpful for this opportunity for the Chargers. What do you got?
34-23.
Yep.
They lost.
October 19th.
They lost.
So he's right. 5-1
Exactly.
is the best.
October
So
19th.
Yeah.
My
2
God.
more AFC West victories will be something they've never
No.
done
Let's
before.
go.
And there's a question as to whether or not they know that, and some of them probably do, some of them probably don't. Or Jim, is it more accurate to say that when you give a player a stat and they go, "Oh, I didn't know that," that they're BSing you? I've had that happen many times where I've told a player something and they're like, "What? I didn't know that."
Depends on where it comes from. It comes from you or me, or it comes from a coach. It carries different weight.
Yeah. Baseball, obviously baseball is more about stats than any other sport. Sometimes reporters will dig up these crazy, bizarre stats and they'll throw it at a player and they'll be like, "Huh, I didn't know that." And a lot of times I believe it because it's so bizarre. But there are other times when they're like, "Yeah, that's interesting. I wasn't aware." Sure. You're closing in on a career milestone and you weren't aware. Okay, I don't.
You can bet the coaching staff is going to let the Chargers all know that this is if this is indeed the first time for that complete sweep. Believe me, they're going to know.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I would not levy any sort of large actual wager against my feeling on this prediction. But you guys have made some fantastic points in refute of my claim here, and that's what I'm going to go away with. I'm going to go away with an opinion that has been changed and swayed. Chargers win this one running away, 35-24.
Yeah, right.
That's what we're going.
I like it.
Running away. They're gonna stretch the field. Quentin Johnston is gonna catch a bunch of balls. Lab McConkey is gonna catch more than one, and
and we're going to run the ball 40 times.
Keenan
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
Right?
Keenan's going to be out there on third down going, "I'm open. I'm wide open. Throw me the ball." So, I'm excited. We haven't had an early window game in a few weeks. So it'll be cool to wake up and get right into it. And then we'll be here to break it down when it is over. It is the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. We do it during the week and once right after the game with instant reaction. So make sure you join us then. That's going to do it for us here today. For Kenyon Barner, 10 years in the league and 3 rings. Jim Daniels, covering sports in LA since 2001. I am Pete Fox. And again, we thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcasting network out there. Go Chargers. We'll talk to you guys on Sunday. Have a good one.